Welcome to the Big South Member Recognition Week. This week, it's the USC Upstate Spartans and new women's basketball head coach, Becky Burke. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you. Thanks for coming on today. You come to Upstate from a very successful head coaching career at the Division II level. You started a program at Embry-Riddle in Arizona. How have those experiences prepared you to become a Division I head coach?
Yeah, I think everywhere that I've been so far has played some sort of role in preparing me for my first Division I job here at Upstate. And I started at a really young age, and I got to wear a lot of different hats. And I think learning and experience is the only way that you get better at things, and failing and trial and error. And so, my first head coaching job was at the age of 23, and I started a program from scratch. And it doesn't get any better than that in terms of learning how to do everything. I didn't have a full-time assistant. I didn't have a great budget. We didn't have a lot of things. So it's a matter of finding a way to make the most out of what you have. And luckily I was able to do that pretty well and at a high level, and then got an opportunity to go to the University of Charleston, which is where I was for the last 2 years before I came here. And that was just an incredible university to work for, great athletic department to be a part of. And I think I was pretty selective in terms of where I wanted to go work in the Division II world. And the University of Charleston was a no-brainer. I was set up to have a lot of success there with a lot of resources, a lot of great players, and a lot of administrators around me who supported me. So it was really good to be at both of those two places to enable me to feel prepared for this job here at Upstate.
So what differences are you noticing in taking over a Division I program?
I think, I've really prided myself on running every program that I've ever coached just like a Division I program. So even when I was at the NAIA level, I was running that thing like a Division I program. We may not have the most resources. We may not have the things scholarship-wise that Division I schools have. But in terms of how we've practiced, how I've prepared, how I've recruited, I've really done it the same way everywhere I've been. And I don't really think about level, So this being a Division I job, we're not running this thing really any differently than I was running my program at Charleston. And it's just, going back all the way to my playing days at Louisville. It's just how I operate and the way that I've seen things done so long at a high level that's just what I've carried over.
So what have been some of your biggest adjustments during your transition?
Yeah, I think, when you take over a new program anywhere, it's a challenge, but I think you throw a global pandemic into that mix, it makes your job a little bit tougher. But, we're finding our way every day. There's going to be challenges at any university that you're at. There's going to be challenges, with this year specifically, just with what we're dealing with. But you got to find a way through them. You got to find a way to navigate around them. And that's what, our staff and myself, I think we've done a good job so far since we got here with working with what we have and figuring out a way to make the most out of every day and make our players the best that they can be.
So you've only been coaching for about 7 years, and you've been part of winning programs along the way. What do you attribute that to?
I think it could probably just go back to everything that I am, as a coach. It is based off and modeled off of what I experienced for 4 years at the University of Louisville, and watching my coaches and understanding and remembering the reasons we had success and the way that we ran our program there. USC Upstate is not, the caliber that Louisville is. We don't have the resources and things that they do there. But when you talk about the fundamental building blocks of how you run your program and how you prepare, how you watch film, how you lift weights, how you practice, all of those things can be the same, and they have been, and so I think that's the main thing, and that's what we really pride ourselves on. And changing a culture is hard, and I've been able to do it everywhere I've been so far. And I like to think, Daniel hired me here for a reason, because I'm the one for this job, and I'm the one that's best able to do it. And so I plan on doing that every day to the best of my ability.
So in those previous stops, is that immediate and consistent success? Was that somewhat of a surprise, or was it expected?
Yeah, it was immediate success everywhere that I've been so far. And I say it all the time. I'm the first to admit and understand that I've been extremely blessed. And I'm the first to admit and understand that I know it's not a normal path that I've taken. But I do think, I've been very fortunate. I've been very lucky. I've been very blessed. But I do think that myself and my staff, I think we work our butts off. And I think we take pride in our job, and we do a great job every single day with our players and our program. And so that's attributed as well.
So how would you describe your coaching style?
How would I describe it, or my players, I think would be two different answers. Everybody tells me fiery, energetic, passionate. And one of my assistants is actually an old teammate of mine at Louisville. And she tells me all the time, she's like, you coach exactly how you played. And so just fiery, man, just like chip on my shoulder, excited, passionate. And, with my players, I tell them all the time, I'm the first one to tell you that when you turn it over, that's not okay. But I'm also the first one when you get an and one, like I'm practically out at half court meeting you out there, So I like to think that I do a little bit of both with my players. I definitely coach them hard. I'm not an easy coach to play for by any means. But at the end of the day, I feel like I have the relationships with my players that I can coach them hard, and they don't take anything personal.
So with that, what will be some of the first steps you're looking to implement with the Upstate program?
Yeah, I think everything that you talk about, a lot of it happens in the locker room. You're talking about culture. You're talking about mindset. You're talking about these players haven't won before, and they haven't won at a high level. And so they don't know what it feels like to be there, at the top, but they also don't know what it feels like to get there, and the process that it takes every single day, day in and day out to get there, and the accountability. And, sometimes they don't like it, but we hold them to a standard every single day that over time it's going to change. But we don't hold them to that standard on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays and let them go on Tuesdays, Thursdays. It's accountability from day one that we've stepped foot here, and the people that are going to buy in and do what we ask them to do are the ones that are going to be on the floor and in that locker room leading. And so I think it starts there, but the change that we've seen in these kids and the confidence, and we're trying to lead them to places that we've been as coaches. And so them trusting us and allowing us to take them there and allowing us to show them every day what it takes to be a winner. It's been fun so far, and I know we still have a long way to go.
Well, as we've noted earlier, your successful career to this point, including the recognition from the Women's Basketball Coaches Association on their 30 for 30 list, and we see the award behind you. But what did that honor mean to you?
That was like one of the coolest things for me, especially as a young head coach, just to be a part of that group. 30 coaches in the entire country under the age of 30, that are selected and voted on, in terms of what you've been able to do in your coaching career so far, both as an assistant and as a head coach. And I got that award when I was at the University of Charleston, and I was the only head coach on the entire list of 30 people. You've got a lot of young coaches that are assistants right now, and I was fortunate enough to have a head coaching opportunity. So to have been nominated and then to have won that was like one of the biggest honors of my coaching career so far. So I was very, very humbled by that.
Well, you came into the coaching world from your playing days at Louisville, where you were an accomplished three-point shooter. You played in 3 NCAA tournaments. What were some special memories from those days?
Yeah, my whole experience there. I mean, I think looking back and now as a head coach and understanding who I was playing for, understanding that you had 4 years to soak up every word that Jeff Walz was saying to you. Stephanie Norman, Michelle Clark-Hurd, Sam Williams, Beth Ann Ord, all the coaches that I played for there. I mean, you can just look them up right now and just see where those guys are at and the success that they're having. But to play under Jeff Walz and company for 4 years and be able to just literally soak everything in and have the experiences that we had because of them, have the experiences that I had because of the great teammates that I played with. But obviously playing in the Final Four and playing in a national championship is obviously one that stands out the most to me. And you'll never forget those moments. You'll never forget the media and the crowds outside the buildings and the commercials and all the things that you get to do when you get to that point. And it's an honor and an opportunity that not everybody gets. And to play in a Final Four and play in a national championship game is something that I'll forever be thankful for. And, we were the first team at Louisville to ever do it. It seems like now Louisville goes every year, but we were the first team to bring Louisville to the Final Four and to the national championship and kind of put them on the map. So that holds a special place in my heart too.
So after your time at Louisville, at what point did you realize you wanted to pursue a coaching career?
Yeah, I played overseas for a brief while and just really understood that I didn't see a long-term future in a different country. And so I knew I wanted to be back in the States, and I knew the way that I could stay in the game of basketball was by getting my foot in the door coaching-wise. And so that's how I got started as soon as I came back from overseas, 22 years old, and just went from there.
Well, we're going to lighten up the questions a little bit as we continue to get to know you. The first one being, at what age did you start playing basketball, and who introduced you to the game?
I was a little bit of a late bloomer. I think I probably started around 6th or 7th grade because I was actually a swimmer. And I was arguably better at swimming than I was basketball, but my passion and my joy was with basketball. So my dad started me with hoops, and that was him and I's thing, basketball, him coaching me and bringing me to games when I was little. And he was definitely my role model when it came to, basketball and those experiences.
So from a basketball standpoint, who was your favorite player growing up or even to this day?
I would have to definitely say I'm a Pennsylvania girl. That's where I grew up. And so Allen Iverson was in his prime when I was little and just idolizing the NBA players. And so I would definitely say Allen Iverson. My game was not modeled after him by any means, but he was definitely my favorite player.
So if you could pick anyone to shoot some hoops with, who would that be?
Ooh, anyone to shoot some hoops with. I would go back and I would shoot some hoops with my college teammates. I would get if we could just have one more practice, right now, with all of my best friends, and if I could have that experience and have one more day, I would definitely do that.
Great. So you were the runner-up in the 2012 college three-point shootout in the Final Four. But which current Big South head coach would you like to challenge to a three-point shooting contest?
Oh, wow. I don't want to pick just one, because I want to make it an open challenge to any head coach in the Big South. This is the challenge right now. Talk to me, message me on Twitter, text me, but this is the challenge. Everybody, it's open.
And Coach, our last question for you. As you are just starting at Upstate, there'll be lots of things that your team will learn about you coming up. But what is something so unique that they will be very surprised to learn about you in the coming months?
I think my players are doing a good job getting to know me. I've got a very sarcastic side and a unique sense of humor that, sometimes we're at practice and they don't know if they should laugh or not. And I'm trying to be funny and to get them to laugh, but they're not sure, so we've had a good time getting to know each other's personalities, and they're getting more comfortable with me. I'm getting more comfortable with them. And I just think, sometimes there's a hard exterior that a head coach presents, or, I've gotten that a lot, just that, sometimes I'm very, very serious out there, but them getting to know me on a more personal level, that I do truly care about them, and that I can joke around with the best of them, and they can come in here and we can talk about things that are totally outside the basketball world. So those are the relationships I'm looking forward to continue to grow.
Well, Coach, we enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better as you start your first year at Upstate and in the Big South. We thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best as the season gets underway.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.